And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are asking, is Max Verstappen a villain? Is he the villain of Formula One? Well, according to his fans, absolutely not. He is a once-in-a-generation talent, and I don't think even the most staunch Lewis, Lando, anti-Max fan would be difficult to admit that in one of their honest moments. However, does Max Verstappen take things too far? Is he a dirty driver? Is he uncompromising? We've seen that with geniuses before. Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher, arguably two of F1's greats, arguably two of the greatest of all time. You can make an argument for either of them to be the best driver ever. As I imagine, you may well, by the time Max retires, could make an argument for Max Verstappen being the best driver ever. However, is Max a villain? So, is Max Verstappen a villain? That's certainly something we will be looking at today as we look at some clashes throughout history for Max Verstappen. As you can see, we're going to start here with Belgium 2016. The story is, in one corner, you've got Kimi Räikkönen. In the other, a young up-and-comer Max Verstappen, who in 2016 has already won his first race in Spain. And here we go. Kimi then jink to the left, jink to the right. And he is going past Verstappen, but Verstappen completely outbrakes him here. As you can see, he outbrakes him. He's good, but then he runs Kimi off the road with his late braking and then carries on. Kimi Räikkönen essentially has to let him past. Okay, not too bad. Uncompromising. We've seen Lewis and Senna do that. Fair enough. But then here, the same race, I think a lap or a couple of laps later, Kimi Räikkönen goes for attempt number 2. Yeah, you can just about see it. Let's see what happens here. As you can see, Kimi Räikkönen and then Max Verstappen absolutely cuts him up. I mean, that for me is uncompromising. Kimi goes on, goodness me, I mean, they're heading near 200 miles per hour and pretty much, at almost the last minute where Kimi jinks, Max Verstappen cuts him off. I mean, that's the kind of thing you see in Gran Turismo and online in the F1 games. That is not something you want to be playing with in Formula One. So, okay, that one, absolutely. Here we have number 3, a third incident in Hungary 2016 against Daniel Ricciardo, where he just bumps Daniel Ricciardo off. Now, you could make an argument here that he does just go a bit wide. I mean, you can see he does have anti-lock and he just smacks it into here. However, one argument before we get to China, one argument you can make here is that something that Max goes into a corner and he just expects from some people to move out the way. I mean, he has locked it up and smack, and off goes Daniel Ricciardo. So, okay, locking up, going a bit wide maybe, but this one here, China 2018, and late on the brakes, completely misjudges it and takes out him and Sebastian Vettel. I mean, yeah, so Vettel sort of left the door open, but not that much. Surely he knew he was going to be so late on the brakes, and in we come, and gadoosh, and then they spin around. I mean, yeah, not one of Max's finest moments, but here we go. And this is another controversial one about moving under the braking zone. This is Azerbaijan. I think it's 2018 as well. Danny Ricciardo's, 2018. Danny Ricciardo's last year in Red Bull, and arguably the incident that made him leave the Red Bull team. So Azerbaijan, here we go. So, and then, and Max moving quite clearly, absolutely under the braking zone. There was no doubt there, and I mean, Danny Ricciardo was quite upset about this. He felt that the team took Max's side, and that's when he realised, a lot of people have suggested, that's when he realised that the team was very much Max Verstappen's team. But as you can see here, yeah, moving under, they're braking, and then they hit Max's fault. Absolutely moving under the braking zone. Here we have now Austria, but not Austria 2024. Austria 2019. In one corner we have Charles Leclerc trying to get his first ever victory at the time, and in the other corner we have the uncompromising Max Verstappen. Very similar to if you watched Austria 2024. With Lando, Norris and Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen really late on the brakes. Leclerc did leave it open, and then bangs him off, forces him off the track, carries on. It wasn't, incidentally, it was investigated. There we go, and then you see the bang there, donk. It was investigated, funnily enough, And as you probably saw in the coverage of Austria 24, Anthony Davidson showed this clip as well. Was investigated, but no further action for Max Verstappen. Okay, next up we've got the Emilia-Romagna 2021 starting in the wet. Lewis Hamilton has pole position. Max Verstappen alongside him. And as they come into the corner here, Max Verstappen is just going to run Hamilton out of road. Absolutely, completely out of road. Very similar to what he did to Charles Leclerc. I mean, Lewis has given him enough space, and there we go. Completely out of the road. I don't even... Yeah. I mean, uncompromising. I mean, as you can see here, Lewis Hamilton has absolutely nowhere to go. But off the track, or have an accident with Max Verstappen. And talking about having an accident with Max Verstappen, we have number 8, Spain 2021. A couple of races later, or maybe the next race, it was Lewis Hamilton and pole. Max got an absolutely awesome start, but once again, his uncompromising behaviour going into the corner, thinking I might be going to have a crash with the other guy. The other guy's going to yield. Seems to be, when you look at it, at least his temperament here. Brake. And okay, he's braking on the inside, but he goes so fast, and then he opens it up, and then Lewis Hamilton again has nowhere to go, forcing him off the track in Spain. Let's have one more look here. There we go, on the inside, forcing Hamilton wide again. This is again, it all comes to a head at Monza 2021 as well. Well, it comes to a head quite often in 2021, where Hamilton and Max, there we go. Hamilton tries to go around the outside, and then he knows, and they just hit each other. In the end, for that one, interestingly, Max Verstappen did get a penalty. And what's really interesting about it is his radio message after, but we'll get into that in a second at the end. So next up, we've got Saudi Arabia 2021. This is Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Lewis trying to go round the outside, I believe, of Max. And once again, Max uncompromising, leaving his braking far too late, forcing both of them off the track. There they go, and they come back on. And yeah, this is number 11 in Saudi 2021. Where Max Verstappen hits the brake button and Lewis absolutely smashes right into him. I mean, this is inexcusable. There was some confusion there, but there was absolutely no reason for Max Verstappen to slam on the brakes. I'm not going to show you Brazil 2021 because that's been shown so many times, where Max Verstappen essentially pushes Hamilton really, really wide whilst Hamilton is trying to take the lead. Very similar to some of the stuff here. So, Max Verstappen. Now, that was not particularly good at all. But now we go to Austria 2024 as Max Verstappen Max Verstappen is being taken by Lando Norris. He gives him absolutely no room, and they end up hitting each other. Both of them absolutely suffered. Both of them not even on the podium. Lando Norris, in fact, retired there. Max Verstappen did get a 10-second penalty. Is Max a villain? And this is the issue here. Is he a villain? Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Is he? I don't want to brush the tar home with that brush. However, I want to say uncompromising more than villain. And the issue is, he's either not really been allowed, but not too many people, other than you got Lewis and now Norris, have stuck up to him. We had the Silverstone crash, which was arguably Lewis's fault, but you could make an argument at Silverstone that would not have happened had Max been had a bit more racecraft. And even people are saying that Max is absolutely amazing. He's out front, he's brilliant. When you put him under pressure, maybe he's not as good a racer as some people have given him credit for. Yes, he's really good at overtaking, but maybe the reason he's good at overtaking is because he is so aggressive. Kind of like Senna in the yellow helmet, Lewis years later in the Mercedes, and Senna in the McLaren colours, and now Max Verstappen in the Red Bull colours. It must be disconcerting for them when they're coming up to try and make a pass. But he puts himself in positions where the other driver seems to have a choice of either to have a crash or move out the way. And it really depends on who he's racing with how that particular thing ends. But what I want to show you here is the Spa interview in 2016, where I'll play it, and I'd like to see, and I would like to see what you guys think.
Video chatter today from other drivers not happy with your defensive style of driving out there, but you haven't been called to see the stewards. There were no investigations. Are you happy with the way that you're driving and defending?
Yeah, otherwise I should have got a penalty if it was not correct. So I think everything was also fair again today.
So essentially, he says he didn't get a penalty. So there you go. I'm absolutely fine. And in the end, there were rules to move under braking. You're not allowed to do. But that was essentially his mentality, as potentially it could be his mentality now. And this is the one thing that got me though about the Monza. About the Monza issue in 2021, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton. I initially thought, okay, Lewis he didn't give him space, but Max Verstappen got the penalty because I think at the apex of the corner, Max Verstappen wasn't really ahead. But this is, I'm not saying the incident was premeditated, but it's just kind of like Max was quite happy to have a crash. He was there to have a crash. I mean, here we go. Listen to him on the radio.
And in their desperation to stay ahead and to get ahead, the two championship protagonists
well, okay, not quite yet. If I'm going to wind it forward, I mean, you've got the crash here, and then there, and then that's what you get when you don't leave a space. That's what you get when you don't leave the space. So it almost, and he said that quite quickly after the actual incident, obviously before he got out of the car, which is, I think, a tiny bit concerning. We all thought that the Max Verstappen of old was not going to come. He had really fair fights with Leclerc. He did have that one incident again with Lewis Hamilton in 2022, and that would have been Brazil 2022, where him and Lewis came to touch each other. But that was the only big controversial incident. There was one at, I think, Silverstone 2022, and Mick Schumacher tried to get past Max, and Max, I thought, was a bit near the mark there. But here we have a world champion that has, I think at the moment, a few question marks. Once again, I do not want to doubt how talented this guy is. He is one of the fastest. He is one of the best. He's very good also at looking after his tyres, and he has arguably had the best driver car combination over the last few years. But now is it getting like a 2021 situation where it is very close? There is a world championship at stake. There are wins at stake, and Max just doesn't know how to lose. When it comes to some battles, not all, but some battles. I don't know. But let us know what you think. Comment below. Let us know. Is Max Verstappen a villain? Is he just uncompromising? Is he just a genius? Is he a flawed genius? Comment below. Let us know. Hopefully, going forward, this is recorded just after the Austrian Grand Prix. Going forward, hopefully, we draw a line under the sand, and something like this, we are going to get clashes, but it doesn't really, hopefully, fingers crossed, happen again. Speak to you soon.